Okay, let's unpack this. What if I told you that a new sport, one that's, barely registered on many people's radars until recently, has not only exploded in popularity, but has actually officially outpaced tennis in monthly participation here in the U.S.?
Really? Outpaced tennis.
Yeah, we're talking about a sport that's witnessed a astonishing 223% growth in just 3 years.
Wow.
Imagine that. More than double its size in like a blink.
That's incredible growth.
And this isn't some niche, obscure game for just a select few. This is pickleball. It's the dynamic new kid on the block that's captivated millions, often playfully described as a surprising blend of tennis, badminton, and even table tennis.
A bit of everything then.
Pretty much. So our mission today is to really embark on a deep dive into what makes pickleball so incredibly unique, how it truly stacks up against its more established racket sport cousins like badminton, tennis, and padel, and perhaps most importantly, to uncover the profound physical and mental health benefits that are, undeniably fueling its meteoric rise.
Makes sense.
We're going to arm you with the surprising facts, the key insights, and the strategic nuances you need to truly understand this phenomenon, and maybe, just maybe, inspire you to pick up a paddle yourself.
Sounds good.
And joining me to untangle all this fascinating data, as always, is our resident expert, who has this uncanny knack for pulling out the hidden threads and connecting seemingly disparate ideas.
Well, it's a truly fascinating area, and I'm genuinely excited to explore the underlying dynamics of this sport's rapid ascent. What's fascinating here is how something seemingly simple, almost unassuming, can have such a profound and widespread impact. Both individual health and that collective community spirit. It's really a testament to, good design meeting an unmet need.
I couldn't agree more. It really does seem to create that strong community feel, doesn't it?
It does.
Which makes me curious, how did a sport that seems so perfectly aligned with modern needs actually come into being? Pickleball wasn't some ancient game rediscovered or, a centuries-old tradition passed down.
No, not at all.
It was actually invented right here in the U.S. back in the 1960s, almost as a spontaneous backyard creation.
That's a crucial point, because its origin isn't just a fun anecdote. It's key to understanding its current success. Its fusion nature, as you put it, is incredibly deliberate. The inventors, Joel Pritchard, Bill Bell, and Barney McCallum, they essentially took elements they liked from 3 established Olympic sports, tennis, badminton, and table tennis, and consciously blended them.
Right, so it wasn't accidental.
No, definitely not. You see this fusion in everything, from the court dimensions to the paddle design and even the type of ball used. This was a design philosophy aimed at creating a game that was inherently accessible yet still engaging.
How so?
Well, by combining familiar aspects but stripping away some of the more, let's say, intimidating elements, they effectively lowered the barrier to entry, lowered it to something almost anyone could try, while still offering a deeply compelling and enjoyable gameplay experience.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It truly democratizes the joy of competitive sport.
And the engagement is certainly there, given its incredible growth statistics. We're talking about a 223% increase in U.S. participation from 2020 to 2023.
Yeah, that number is staggering.
Think about that. From a relatively niche sport to, in 2024, actually surpassing tennis in monthly participation?
Surpassing tennis.
That's not just growth. It's an explosion, a true cultural phenomenon that seems to have just erupted from nowhere.
And to truly grasp the magnitude of that explosion, you have to consider the infrastructure. In 2024, the U.S. boasted an astonishing 38,000 dedicated pickleball courts.
38,000?
Yep. Now, compare that to a country like the Netherlands, which in the same year had only around 230 courts.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
That stark disparity really highlights where the epicenter of this phenomenon lies and illustrates the rapid investment in facilities within the U.S. The core reasons for this almost unparalleled popularity are remarkably clear when you delve into the data.
Okay, what are they?
First, there's the undeniable accessibility factor. Unlike many traditional sports that demand years of dedicated practice to feel competent, pickleball has incredibly easy-to-learn rules.
Right.
This makes it suitable for virtually all ages and skill levels. Sources consistently suggest that most people can pick up a paddle and play competitively within just 2 to 3 sessions.
2 or 3 sessions, that's it.
Pretty much.
So if I'm hearing this right, pickleball isn't just easy to learn. It's almost an instant gratification sport. You can realistically feel competitive in a handful of sessions.
Yes.
That's a rapid learning curve compared to, say, tennis or golf, where it can take months or even years just to feel like you're not embarrassing yourself.
Precisely. And that's the profound insight here. In a world where mastery often feels out of reach without years of dedicated practice, pickleball offers a uniquely rapid path to competency. It democratizes the joy of competitive sport, lowering the psychological barrier for entry to virtually zero. It's designed to make you feel successful fast, which is an incredibly powerful motivator for continued participation, especially for adults who might be intimidated by sports that require extensive training.
And that rapid competency, I imagine, ties directly into its inclusivity.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
This ease of entry means it appeals broadly across demographics, families, friend groups, and notably older adults.
Okay.
While the average age of players hovers around 38, the largest demographic group currently is actually over 55.
Interesting.
This makes sense given its lower physical demands. However, it's also important to note that younger players, those under 25, are increasingly getting into the game, expanding its appeal across the entire age spectrum. It's not just an older person's sport, though it certainly embraces them. It's truly intergenerational.
So it's building bridges across age gaps on the court. That's fantastic.
Exactly. And then there's the incredibly strong social nature. Pickleball is predominantly played in doubles, which naturally fosters a strong sense of community, camaraderie, and direct social interaction. Anecdotally, you often hear players say they come for the exercise but stay for the friendships.
I've heard that too.
Courts frequently become vibrant social hubs, not just places to play a game. People gather, chat between points, rotate partners, and build real connections. This social engagement is a significant driver, contributing demonstrably to overall well-being and life satisfaction. For many, it addresses a fundamental human need for connection in an increasingly isolated world.
You know, I was talking to a friend who got into pickleball, and they said it was less about the game and more about the instant friend group it gave them. Is that kind of intense social bonding a universal experience? It sounds like it's fostering all this social connection, creating these vibrant community hubs.
It truly is. That intense social bonding, what researchers call social capital, is a huge, often underestimated benefit.
Right. But let's shift gears to the body. My impression is that it's often touted as easier on the joints than, say, tennis. Is that truly accurate, or is it still a significant workout? What does the data say about its physical demands?
Yeah, so regarding the physical aspect, yes, it's accurate that it's often described as less demanding than some of its racket sport cousins. But that doesn't mean it's not a significant workout. Compared to tennis, for instance, pickleball involves considerably less intensive lateral movements, eliminating those long, explosive sprints across a huge court. This inherently puts less stress on joints and muscles. This reduced physical demand is a crucial point because it significantly lowers the risk of acute injury and chronic overuse issues, making it particularly attractive for seniors or individuals recovering from injuries who might find other racket sports too strenuous.
Gotcha.
This blend of low barrier to entry, powerful social engagement, and moderate but sustainable physical demand creates an incredibly compelling combination for its rapid adoption across diverse populations.
Okay, that gives us a fantastic overview of why pickleball has become such a sensation, almost a social phenomenon in itself. But to truly understand its magic, we need to strip it down to its components. What is this game, fundamentally?
Right.
What gear do you need? How is the court set up? And what are those unique rules that make it tick? When you first step onto a pickleball court, the equipment is one of the first things that immediately catches your eye. The paddle, for instance, is distinctly different. It's solid, unlike a tennis racket, with no strings, resembling an oversized table tennis bat.
Yeah, like a big ping pong paddle.
Exactly.
All right.
It's surprisingly lightweight, typically ranging from a feathery 6 ounces up to about 14 ounces, and made of various materials from traditional wood to advanced composites and graphite.
And this is precisely where the contrasts with other racket sports become so clear and impactful. If you think about badminton, it uses a very lightweight, strung racket designed for incredible speed and agility, where the flexibility of the strings adds to the shot power. Tennis, on the other hand, employs heavier, strung rackets, usually between 9 to 12 ounces, specifically engineered for generating massive power and sophisticated spin. Pickleball's solid paddle Even with advanced materials like graphite, carbon fiber, or polymer cores, functions fundamentally differently.
Huh.
Since there are no strings, you can't generate the kind of topspin or slice that tennis players rely on to keep powerful shots in bounds.
Ah, okay. So that changes everything.
It does. This means the game shifts from brute force and spin-driven power to an emphasis on placement, touch, and finesse. It's a subtle yet fundamental shift that dictates every shot you make.
And the ball. I mean, it's not what you'd expect. A perforated, hollow plastic ball, almost like a whiffle ball.
Yeah, exactly like a wiffle ball.
With 26 to 40 holes fewer for indoor play. What's the clever design choice behind that?
Yeah.
Because it clearly isn't about raw speed.
Indeed. That design is absolutely critical because it directly dictates the pace of the game.
Hmm.
In stark contrast, badminton uses a shuttlecock, which, fun fact, is the only racket sport that doesn't actually use a ball at all.
Huh. I didn't know that.
And tennis, of course, uses pressurized, rubber felt balls designed for high speed, consistent bounce, and generating significant spin. The pickleball's perforated ball inherently limits its speed, dramatically slowing down rallies and making it much easier for players of all skill levels to track and return shots.
So it slows the game down on purpose.
Exactly. This slower pace contributes immensely to the sport's accessibility, shifting the focus from lightning-fast reactions to strategic shot placement and patience. Plus, all this equipment, the paddles, the balls, is remarkably portable, fitting easily into small bags or backpacks,
Right.
which is a huge advantage for players on the go who want to play anywhere.
That portability really underscores the convenience factor.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the court itself, because the dimensions are quite specific. 44 feet long by 20 feet wide. That's similar in size to a doubles badminton court, but what's truly striking for anyone familiar with tennis is that it's roughly 1/4 the size of a standard tennis court.
And that size difference has truly profound implications, especially for infrastructure development and the sport's rapid expansion. The fact that one standard tennis court can comfortably fit 3 pickleball courts is a major, undeniable driver behind why we're seeing such widespread conversions.
3 courts on 1 tennis court.
Yep. For example, sources indicate that over 25% of tennis courts in Atlanta alone have already been converted to accommodate the surging demand for pickleball.
Wow.
From an economic perspective, for recreational departments and private clubs, this is an incredibly efficient way to dramatically increase player capacity and revenue potential with minimal new construction. It's also addressing the problem of underutilized tennis courts in many areas, revitalizing public spaces.
So it's not just about the game itself, but how efficiently it uses space, which is a huge consideration, especially in urban environments.
Definitely.
And the net height is also lower than tennis, right? It's 36 inches at the posts and 34 inches at the center.
Precisely. For context, tennis nets are considerably higher, standing at 42 inches at the posts and 36 inches at the center. This lower net in pickleball fundamentally affects shot trajectories and encourages a different, more controlled style of play, often keeping the ball lower to the ground.
Okay.
But beyond the dimensions, pickleball has a truly signature feature: the 7-foot non-volley zone, NVZ, on each side of the net, universally known as the kitchen.
The kitchen.
This zone extends 7 feet back from the net. This raises an important question. What stands out to you about this unique restriction, the kitchen rule?
Well, it seems like it fundamentally alters the strategic landscape of the game. The prohibition on volleys hitting the ball before it bounces while standing in that zone means you can't just rush the net immediately after a serve and unleash a powerful smash.
Exactly.
It forces players to be more patient, to let the ball bounce, and to use finesse and touch over raw power. It feels like a brilliant built-in mechanism to keep the game strategic, encourage rallies, and prevent it from becoming solely about aggressive power shots at the net. It's almost an equalizer, isn't it?
You've hit the nail on the head. It is absolutely an equalizer. It's designed to prevent immediate net rushing and aggressive power plays, ensuring that points are earned through strategic rally development rather than just overwhelming force.
Right.
This kitchen line creates a natural gathering point where much of the competitive action occurs. It's where the most delicate, tactical shots, known as dinks, are played, fostering that close-quarters finesse play that genuinely defines pickleball's character and makes it so unique and accessible.
That leads us perfectly into the core rules and scoring mechanics. The serve in pickleball is quite distinct, requiring an underhand motion.
Yes, underhand.
It must be delivered below the waist and diagonally cross-court, and you only get 1 attempt per point. Many players, including Coach Mo, recommend using a continental grip for better control and consistency on the serve.
This underhand serve is a fundamental departure from tennis, where overhead serves are predominantly favored for their explosive power and ability to generate massive spin. And players typically get 2 attempts, first and second serves.
Right, 2 serves in tennis.
Pickleball's underhand serving style inherently prioritizes rally development and consistent play over a dominant serve-based attack. It ensures the ball is put into play more reliably, reducing the number of unforced errors that can quickly end a point in other sports. It's less about a blistering ace and more about setting up the rally.
Makes sense. And then there's the double bounce rule. Both the serve and the return of serve must bounce once before either team can volley the ball. This sounds like it slows things down even further initially.
This rule is absolutely crucial because it strategically prevents either team from rushing the net immediately after the serve and hitting a volley. It ensures that the first few shots of a rally involve ground strokes, giving all players time to advance safely to the net and establish a strategic position. It essentially puts a brief pause on aggressive net play at the start of each point, contributing significantly to the game's approachable pace and giving players time to breathe and think. It's another example of how the rules are designed to foster accessibility and strategic rallies.
And finally, the scoring. Games typically go to 11 points, winning by a margin of 2.
Standard 11 points, win by 2.
But here's the crucial part. Only the serving team can score points. How does that impact the game flow and strategy?
This specific scoring rule is a real game changer and a defining characteristic of pickleball. It's known as side-out scoring.
Side-out scoring.
Unlike tennis's traditional 15-30-40 format, where either team can score on any point, this rule inherently prevents runaway scores and maintains competitive tension throughout matches. If the serving team commits a fault, they simply lose the service opportunity without surrendering points to the opponents.
So you don't lose the point, just the serve.
Exactly. This means that momentum shifts are truly earned through successful rallies and strategic play, rather than just capitalizing on an opponent's error. It adds a layer of resilience and strategy, forcing teams to focus not just on winning the point, but on winning the serve back if they aren't already serving.
Interesting.
This combination of unique equipment, distinct court features, and cleverly designed rules truly creates a game that's distinctively strategic, accessible, and incredibly engaging.
You've laid out the rules and equipment so clearly, giving us a real sense of pickleball's foundational design. Now let's talk about the actual art of play. How these differences translate into distinct playing styles, specific strategies, and unique challenges that players face. When we look at racket sports, badminton is known for its incredible speed and intensity, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's all about lightning quick reactions, explosive jumps, powerful smashes, and constant, almost frantic movement across the court, relying heavily on agility, endurance, and surgical precision.
That's a fantastic baseline for comparison. Pickleball, on the other hand, due to its smaller court, lower net, and slower perforated ball, transforms the game into something far more strategic and controlled.
More strategic? How?
Instead of the full-court sprints and raw power serves of tennis or the explosive leaps of badminton, the emphasis in pickleball shifts entirely. It moves from raw speed and brute force to precise placement, those delicate dink shots that just drop into the kitchen, that non-volley zone,
Right, it's a dink.
forcing your opponent to hit up. Players are often engaged in close quarters volleys right at the net. It's less a race, more a strategic chess match played with paddles, where patience and precision often trump raw power.
I can absolutely see that chess match analogy. And padel, which is also gaining significant popularity globally, adds yet another intriguing layer of strategic complexity with its unique court design.
It absolutely does. Padel's playing style is also very strategic, but it uniquely involves a fenced-in court with glass walls.
Glass walls.
Yep. This means the ball can, and often does, bounce off the walls before being returned. This introduces an entirely new tactical dimension, as players have to decide whether to hit the ball directly, let it hit one or more walls, or even hit it against their own wall to set up a return.
Whoa, okay. That sounds complicated.
It creates complex decision-making under time pressure, as you're not just thinking about getting the ball over the net, but how the walls will affect its trajectory and your opponent's position. It's a very dynamic and cognitively demanding activity, requiring spatial awareness and anticipation that goes beyond traditional court lines.
So strategy is king across these sports, but manifested quite differently based on the environment.
Exactly.
Let's dive into some specific strategies and techniques, pulling from the insights shared by players and coaches, including Coach Mo. He stresses something called the ready position. It sounds fundamental.
It is fundamental, often overlooked, and absolutely critical in pickleball. Coach Mo highlights the paramount importance of getting back to that ready position instantly after every shot, especially after volleys or dinks at the net.
Okay, what does that look like?
This means your paddle is out in front of your body, held low, your feet are shoulder-width apart, and you're on your toes, light and coiled, ready to move in any direction. Crucially, he emphasizes that you should stop your movement at the exact point of your opponent's contact with the ball, no matter where you are on the court.
Stop moving right then.
Yep. Being prepared early and properly, anticipating the opponent's shot, is often more important than perfectly occupying an ideal court position if you're not ready to hit the next ball. It's about being dynamically prepared for the unexpected.
That makes perfect sense. And what about the return of serve, which is the very first shot of a rally after the serve?
For the return of serve, Coach Mo advises against trying for an immediate, pure winner, that aggressive point-ending shot.
Don't go for the winner right away.
Right. The goal is consistency and setting up the point. The suggested target is about 5 feet from the baseline and 8 inches to the left of center, especially if you're trying to exploit an opponent's backhand. The key, he stresses, is to hit the ball relatively slowly, often with minimal spin.
Slowly. Right.
Yeah, this seemingly counterintuitive slow return gives you ample time to advance from the baseline to the non-volley zone line, also known as the kitchen line.
Ah, so it buys you time to get to the net.
Exactly. While usually slow, you can also occasionally change the spin or surprise with a slightly faster, controlled return when your opponents least expect it, just to keep them guessing. It's about building the point, not ending it prematurely.
That's a subtle but powerful tip, sacrificing initial power for court position. And for volleying, he recommends punching rather than swinging. What's the philosophy there?
Exactly. For consistency and control in volleying, which is a significant part of pickleball play, the advice is to punch the ball, not swing. Unless your opponent hits a very fast shot or an overhead at close range that demands more power.
Okay, so mostly punch it.
This punch is a compact, controlled motion. You need to keep your elbow out in front of your body and the paddle head above your wrist for better control and to maintain an open paddle face. For low shots, you need to bend your knees significantly, almost touching the ground, to get under the ball and make contact far in front of your body.
Bend those knees.
You got it. This technique is all about precision, quick reflexes, and redirecting the ball's energy rather than generating power through a large swing. It's about efficiency of motion.
So it's about efficiency of motion and maintaining that forward momentum towards the net. And for tennis players looking to transition, I know the third shot drop is often highlighted as a critical adjustment. This isn't just another shot, it's a strategic linchpin, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and it's where many tennis players truly struggle initially. The third shot drop is a soft, controlled approach shot designed to land gently into the opponent's kitchen after the serve and return.
Soft and gentle into the kitchen.
Right. For tennis players who are instinctively used to hitting powerful ground strokes and aggressively rushing the net, mastering this seemingly gentle shot is essential for competitive pickleball. It's a tactical shot that helps you gain strategic advantage by getting yourself to the kitchen line, forcing your opponents to hit up on the ball.
Forcing them to hit up.
Thereby creating an offensive opportunity for you. It's about turning a defensive situation into an offensive one through touch and placement, not power.
And that leads into court positioning. You mentioned that tennis players might have counterproductive habits there, always wanting to stay at the baseline.
Indeed. Former tennis players often instinctively stay at the baseline, accustomed to that deep court play. However, in pickleball, advancing to the kitchen line immediately after hitting a return, whether it's a third shot drop or a drive, is absolutely critical for competitive success.
Get to the net.
Get to the net. Coach Mo emphasizes that 85% of your shots and your partner's shots should be volleys no further back than 12 inches from the non-volley zone line if you're playing to win. If you stay back at the baseline, you are surrendering the strategic advantage. The team that successfully gets both players to the net first almost always wins the point.
Almost always wins.
As it gives them superior angles and a better chance to attack. This means players have to actively break old habits and learn to move forward much more consistently.
So it's not about big, sweeping power shots like in tennis, but more about surgical precision and strategic positioning.
Not primarily, no. Coach Mo suggests that if you're playing to win, about 80% of your shots should be volleys at or near the NBZ line.
80% volleys.
This directly relates to power control. Tennis players often hit with far too much power for the smaller pickleball court. They need to adjust to hitting at approximately 60% of their full tennis power to maintain placement and consistency.
Only 60% power. That's a big adjustment.
It is. The emphasis shifts entirely from raw power to strategic placement and touch. Also, the absence of string-based spin generation means tennis players can't rely on heavy topspin to keep powerful shots in court. They need to adapt to hitting flatter, more placement-focused shots.
That's a significant shift in mindset. And Coach Mo also talks about different types of winners. Sounds like it's not just a binary hit or miss.
Yes, he categorizes them to help players understand when and how to apply different levels of force. A pure winner is the hardest shot you can hit, meant to end the point immediately with aggressive intent.
Go for broke.
Right. A three-quarter winner is a shot hit at about three-quarters pace, sacrificing a little power for much better control, used when you're in control of the point but don't have an easy put-away shot. And sometimes the best strategy, especially when receiving an exceptionally fast shot, is simply blocking the ball to keep it alive, prioritizing getting the ball back over the net.
Just keep it in play.
Exactly. It's about understanding the right shot for the right situation.
Poaching is a common term in doubles tennis, where a player crosses over into their partner's side of the court to hit a shot. How does it apply here, and why is it important in pickleball?
Poaching in pickleball involves faking a move and occasionally actually cutting in front of your partner to take your shot the opponent hit to them.
Ah, okay, same idea.
This is especially effective if you're the stronger player paired with a weaker partner, as it allows the stronger player to cover more of the court and take more decisive shots. The fakes are just as important as the actual poaches. They make your opponents worry you might poach, influencing their shot selection and often forcing them into weaker returns.
So it's psychological, too.
Very much so. It's a tactic to level the playing field or assert dominance, adding a psychological layer to doubles strategy.
And finally, he emphasizes the mental game. What are the key components of a strong mental game in pickleball?
The mental game is paramount, perhaps even more so in pickleball than in other sports, due to its reliance on consistency and patience. It's about cultivating extreme patience, avoiding unforced errors, and anticipating out-balls, shots that will land beyond the boundaries from your opponents.
Patience and avoiding mistakes.
Critically, you need to know your opponent's strengths and weaknesses, almost building a mental book on them throughout the match. Positive and clear communication with your partner is crucial, constantly calling out shots and positions. And finally, you must be able to adjust to external conditions like wind, which can significantly alter the trajectory of the lightweight pickleball.
Adjusting to the wind.
Coach Moy even states that mental errors are much easier to cure than technical ones, underscoring their importance in winning.
Yeah.
A calm, focused mind can often overcome slight technical deficiencies.
It's clear that pickleball is far more than just a casual hit-around. It's a deeply strategic sport with a surprising amount of nuance and a clear learning curve, even for experienced racket sport players. Now, let's pivot to something even more impactful. The profound physical and mental health benefits that are undeniably driving this sport's surge in popularity. It might look casual from the sidelines, with players often standing close to the net, but pickleball offers excellent cardiovascular exercise with players in near constant motion.
That's a critical observation. While it might not involve the long, explosive sprints and bursts of tennis or the intense full-court coverage of badminton, the constant, sustained engagement in pickleball translates into a highly effective, moderate-intensity workout.
Moderate intensity, but sustained.
Exactly. Data from studies shows that during typical 90-minute games, pickleball maintains an average heart rate of 143 beats per minute.
143 BPM.
To put that into perspective, this is approximately 70% of a person's maximum heart rate, which falls squarely within the recommended zone for sustained cardiovascular exercise by health organizations. For comparison, tennis averages around 152 BPM, so while pickleball is slightly lower in peak intensity, it provides highly beneficial, prolonged cardiovascular exercise.
Still a good workout, then.
That contributes significantly to heart health and stamina without overexertion.
So you're constantly moving, but not necessarily sprinting across a huge court. That must have significant implications for joint impact, right? Especially for players concerned about wear and tear on their bodies.
Absolutely. The smaller court size in pickleball fundamentally reduces the need for extensive lateral movement and eliminates those long, ballistic sprints common in tennis. This inherently leads to substantially lower joint impact, which is a massive benefit, particularly for older adults, individuals who are recovering from injuries, or those with pre-existing joint conditions like arthritis.
Lower joint impact.
And the underhand serve, a signature of pickleball, also drastically reduces the shoulder stress and risk of rotator cuff issues that often accompany the powerful overhead serves in tennis. It's a gentler movement pattern overall.
And that leads directly to my next question. Why is that lower impact so crucial for many players, especially those over a certain age or those who might be hesitant to engage in high-impact sports?
It's crucial because it dramatically widens the pool of potential participants and allows people to continue playing a competitive sport for much longer into their lives.
Way longer.
Right. For older adults or anyone with pre-existing joint issues, or those who simply want to avoid the wear and tear associated with high-impact activities. Pickleball offers a sustainable and enjoyable way to stay physically active without exacerbating their conditions or risking serious injury. It essentially extends their active lifespan in sports, allowing them to enjoy competitive play, physical fitness, and vital social interaction for many more years than a high-impact sport might allow.
That's huge.
It transforms exercise from a chore into a fun, social activity that fits naturally into their lives.
Yeah.
This also means improved balance and coordination, given the quick stops, starts, and subtle changes of direction required in the game.
Beyond the physical, there's a truly compelling story about pickleball's mental health and social benefits, backed by systematic review insights. You've looked into this. What did you find, particularly regarding how it impacts well-being?
Yes. The systematic review I examined, which synthesized findings from 14 studies involving over 1,400 participants, offers compelling evidence. Pickleball is positively and significantly associated with enhanced overall well-being and life satisfaction. We're talking about statistically significant improvements.
Statistically significant?
Yes, meaning these findings weren't just random chance, they were reliably observed in the studies, often indicated by a p-value below a certain threshold like 0.05. For instance, enhanced well-being and life satisfaction were confirmed by a p-value of less than 0.05. It also shows a statistically significant increase in happiness, with a correlation of 0.263 and a p-value of less than 0.001.
Increased happiness.
And a measurable reduction in symptoms of depression, correlated at an x to 0.23 with a p-value of less than 0.01.
That's incredibly significant. So it's not just a physical activity, it's demonstrably improving mood, life outlook, and overall mental state.
Precisely. And beyond individual well-being, it significantly boosts social integration and social capital.
Social capital. Remind us what that means.
Right. So social capital refers to the networks of relationships among people who live and work in a particular society, enabling that society to function effectively. In the context of pickleball, it means fostering stronger feelings of trust, safety, and community amongst players. These are profound, often underestimated benefits for public health.
Building community.
For older adults in particular, the review found increased life satisfaction that actually increased with age, especially for those under 70, suggesting it plays a crucial role in maintaining quality of life as people get older. Interestingly, social integration was notably greater for female players, with a p-value of less than 0.01, suggesting a particular benefit for women in building community through the sport.
That's fascinating, especially the gender difference in social integration, and it also highlights the critical role of social connection. What about the impact of something as widespread as the pandemic? Did it affect pickleball participation and, in turn, mental health?
The review highlighted this very acutely. Reduced pickleball participation during the COVID-19 pandemic directly led to a measurable decline in mental health and increased feelings of loneliness among players.
Wow, so the social part is really key.
This powerfully underscores just how vital the social component of this sport is. It's not just a nice-to-have, but a core element of its contribution to well-being. Furthermore, the systematic review found that fun is a particularly significant motivator for middle-aged players.
Why?
And this sense of enjoyment strongly correlated with both psychological health and overall enjoyment derived from the sport. It's clear. For many, it's not just about the exercise. It's profoundly about the joy and connection it brings.
So we're seeing very strong mental and social benefits directly tied to pickleball. How does padel compare in this regard? Are its benefits similar, or does the systematic review show a different focus for padel players?
That's a great question, because the systematic review paints a distinct picture for padel. Padel studies, in contrast to pickleball, primarily focus on performance-related mental health aspects rather than overall well-being in the broader sense.
Performance-related? Like what?
For example, higher-level and match-winning padel players showed increased self-confidence and reduced somatic anxiety.
Somatic anxiety, the physical symptoms.
Exactly, the physical manifestations of anxiety, like a racing heart, sweaty palms, or tense muscles. While pre-competition anxiety does naturally rise in padel, it's generally found to be lower than what is typically observed in tennis players.
So, more about the mental game within competition for padel. And what about mental fatigue in padel? Is that a significant factor given its tactical complexity with the walls?
Mental fatigue is indeed a significant factor in padel. Studies show that it increases with successive games or during prolonged tournaments. And this fatigue has a measurable impact, specifically impairing accuracy and reaction time. For instance, accuracy was found to be impaired with a p-value of 0.05, indicating a statistically significant effect.
So it affects your play.
Definitely. However, there's an interesting nuance. Motivation can actually help mitigate the impact of this fatigue, as seen in increased motivation during constrained matches, where the stakes are higher. Coaches are even advised to quantify and carefully manage mental load and fatigue during training to prevent excessive mental fatigue in competitive players, recognizing its direct impact on performance.
Fascinating how the mental aspects differ between these seemingly similar sports. So, considering all this research, what does this all mean for someone who is actively choosing a sport with overall well-being as a primary goal?
It means that if your primary goal is holistic well-being, meaning you're looking for a combination of physical activity, robust social connection, reduced stress, and increased happiness, Pickleball presents an exceptionally compelling case. It seems to systematically deliver on these broader mental health and social benefits in a truly impactful way, especially for older adults and those seeking a strong community aspect in their exercise.
So, pickleball for overall well-being.
It seems that way based on the current research focus. Padel, while undeniably offering its own unique set of physical and performance-related mental challenges due to its unique court and tactical demands, appears to attract a slightly different focus in research and, perhaps, in player motivation. It's more about the competitive edge, managing performance under pressure, and the intricate tactical game.
Right.
Whereas pickleball emphasizes enjoyment, community building, and sustainable physical activity more prominently. The choice really depends on what blend of benefits you're seeking.
That's a powerful distinction, and it provides such clarity. So if you're a tennis player, you might look at pickleball and think, hey, this is pretty similar. I'll pick it up in no time.
You hear that a lot.
But despite those surface-level similarities, experienced racket sport players, particularly tennis players, often face predictable adjustment difficulties when transitioning to pickleball. It's not as seamless as it looks.
That's absolutely right, and these challenges are deeply rooted in the fundamental differences we've meticulously discussed, from the equipment to the court and rules. One of the biggest hurdles for tennis players is adapting their grip and stroke mechanics. Tennis players frequently use a Western grip.
For topspin.
Exactly. Specifically designed for generating massive topspin, which is crucial for keeping powerful shots within the deep tennis court. However, this grip is far less effective with pickleball's solid paddles, which simply don't produce the same kind of string-based spin. Players need to adopt a more neutral or continental grip for optimal control and consistent shot placement.
Different grip needed.
And additionally, tennis involves longer, sweeping stroke patterns to generate power and spin across a larger court, whereas pickleball demands much more compact, controlled swings. Tennis players instinctively use big backswings, which can cause the lightweight pickleball to sail long, completely missing the small court. It's about relearning muscle memory for a more precise, less powerful game.
So it's about relearning muscle memory for a more precise game, almost counterintuitive for a power player. And court positioning must be a huge adjustment too, given the kitchen and smaller court.
Absolutely. Tennis players are conditioned to a baseline-centric game, often staying far back on the court, relying on powerful ground strokes.
Baseline habit.
In pickleball, however, advancing to the kitchen line immediately after hitting a return, whether it's a delicate third shot drop or a controlled drive, is absolutely essential for competitive play. Baseline habits are counterproductive. If you linger back, you surrender the strategic advantage to your opponents who are already at the net controlling the point.
Gotta break that habit.
This means tennis players have to actively unlearn decades of ingrained habits and train themselves to move forward to the net much more consistently and aggressively than they might be used to. It's a complete shift in tactical geography.
And given that tennis is often about power, generating those blistering serves and ground strokes, I imagine power control is another monumental hurdle.
It certainly is, and it's a common sight to see new pickleball players, especially former tennis players, hitting the ball with far too much force when they first start.
Too much power.
On a smaller pickleball court, hitting with full tennis power almost invariably leads to balls flying out of bounds, gifting points to the opponent. They need to learn to dial back their power to approximately 60% of what they'd use in tennis, while simultaneously maintaining precise shot placement.
60% again.
The emphasis shifts entirely from raw power, which is often punished, to strategic placement and touch. Also, as we discussed, the absence of string-based spin generation means tennis players can't rely on topspin to keep the ball within the lines when they hit hard. They need to adapt to hitting flatter, more placement-focused shots, which requires a different kind of control.
Given these physical demands and transitions, what about injury considerations in pickleball? It's often touted as lower impact, but is it truly a safer sport across the board, or are there specific risks?
While often described as lower impact, it's important to look at the data objectively. Pickleball injuries are more frequent in adults over 60.
More frequent over 60. Why?
The primary types of injuries are falls, often due to quick changes in direction or losing balance, and lower extremity sprains or strains, such as ankle sprains, knee strains, or Achilles tendon issues. A significant 86% of emergency department visits for pickleball-related injuries occur in those over 60,
86%.
highlighting the importance of preventative measures for this demographic. In contrast, tennis tends to carry a higher risk for upper body injuries, like shoulder impingement, tennis elbow, and wrist injuries, largely stemming from the repetitive overhead motions of serving and hitting powerful forehands.
Different injury patterns, then.
Exactly. For both sports, preventative strategies are key. Consistent and proper warm-ups and cool-downs, sport-specific strength training to build resilience, wearing good quality footwear designed for court sports, and ensuring you play on consistent and well-maintained surfaces to minimize trip hazards.
That's valuable practical information for anyone considering picking up a paddle. What about the cost and accessibility comparison between these sports? Is pickleball truly more budget-friendly to get into and sustain?
Yes, the initial investment for pickleball is significantly lower, which is another major factor in its rapid adoption. Quality paddles can range from $30 for a decent beginner paddle to around $200 for more advanced models, but many excellent options are available under $100.
Pretty affordable start.
A 3-pack of pickleballs costs about $3 to $80, and you can even use basic athletic shoes to start. This low financial barrier to entry makes it incredibly accessible to diverse economic backgrounds, reducing that initial hurdle that often prevents people from trying new sports.
And tennis.
Compare that to tennis, where rackets typically cost $5,300, and quality tennis shoes, which are essential, at another $60 to $150. Plus, tennis involves ongoing costs for stringing rackets and more frequent ball replacement due to pressure loss.
So pickleball is less of a financial commitment to get started, which definitely lowers the barrier. And in terms of facility access, how does that compare?
Pickleball's growing infrastructure means that court access is often free or low cost at public facilities. Many recreation centers are actively converting existing tennis courts or basketball courts, or building entirely new, dedicated pickleball courts, dramatically increasing availability in communities. This rapid infrastructure growth means it's easier to find a place to play without significant cost.
Easier to find courts.
Generally, yes. Tennis, while having established infrastructure, often involves higher court fees, especially for indoor play or prime-time slots, or requires private club memberships, particularly in urban areas where court space is limited and expensive. This makes pickleball more accessible in terms of both equipment and playing locations, which is a powerful driver of its community engagement.
So looking ahead, what's the future of racket sports, especially with pickleball's rapid ascent and its distinct profile? Is it a passing fad, or is it carving out a permanent place alongside tennis and badminton?
Given its explosive growth, its accessibility, and its powerful social benefits, I strongly believe pickleball is carving out a permanent place alongside tennis and badminton as a major racket sport. It's rapidly developing youth programs and competitive structures, making it an increasingly attractive option for physical education curricula and for younger generations looking for a fast-paced, social sport.
So it's here to stay.
I think so. Its unique ability to unite people across diverse ages and skill levels in a shared passion for sport and community is a powerful, enduring force. However, It's also important to acknowledge that this rapid expansion isn't without its tensions, particularly over court conversions.
Ah, the court wars.
Right. Tennis players in many communities sometimes feel their dedicated space is being encroached upon as municipal and private facilities prioritize pickleball courts due to demand, leading to debates about resource allocation.
That's a valid point about resource allocation and the need to balance existing recreational needs with emerging ones. And speaking of data, you mentioned limitations in the systematic review we discussed earlier. What are those, and what does it mean for future research? Because robust research helps us understand these impacts even better.
Indeed. The systematic review itself acknowledged several important limitations that future research needs to address. These include the significant heterogeneity of the studies included, meaning they use different methods and populations, which can limit the generalizability of findings.
Different studies, different results.
Exactly. Many studies also had relatively small sample sizes, which can make it hard to draw broad conclusions. There's an over-reliance on self-reported data.
Like surveys.
Yes, like surveys about happiness or loneliness rather than more objective measures like physiological markers of stress or mood. There's also a noticeable lack of randomized controlled trials and intervention designs, which are the gold standard for proving cause and effect relationships.
Need more rigorous studies.
Ideally. Geographically, pickleball research is primarily concentrated in the U.S., while padel research is mainly in Spain and Finland, limiting global applicability. Furthermore, there are age and gender biases. Padel studies tend to skew younger and more male, while pickleball studies predominantly focus on older adults, though they show a better gender balance.
So, gaps in the research.
Definitely. Future research needs to bridge these gaps, exploring well-being in padel and performance-related mental health in pickleball across more diverse populations, and utilizing more rigorous methodologies like longitudinal studies or intervention trials to provide an even more comprehensive and definitive understanding of these sports' impacts.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into pickleball. We've truly seen how this sport, born from a clever blend of classics, has exploded in popularity.
It really has.
It offers a truly unique mix of accessible equipment, a clever court design with its signature kitchen zone, and strategic rules that prioritize rallies, finesse, and social interaction over raw power. We've unpacked its clear distinctions from tennis, badminton, and padel, highlighting why each sport offers a unique experience. And perhaps most importantly, we've revealed the compelling physical benefits like sustained cardiovascular exercise and lower joint impact, alongside its truly remarkable contributions to mental health, happiness, and profound social connection.
Quite a package.
The choice between these fantastic racket sports truly depends on your personal goals, your physical capabilities, and your social preferences. But what's clear is that each offers a potent path to fitness, enjoyment, and community.
Indeed. And it leaves us with an interesting provocative thought. Given how powerfully social connection and mental well-being are intrinsically linked to physical activity, what other accessible, community-driven sports might be waiting in the wings to be discovered, or perhaps even engineered as potent tools for public health? It suggests that the next big deep dive into a health and social phenomenon might already be in motion, just not on a court you know yet.